to every one of you. I know that scorching heat right now makes you want to dive into the cool and crystal clear water behind me. Philippines so majestic, isn't it? But have you ever wondered why our country is so hot? Then 1 minute rain is pouring hard, and then sometimes out of nowhere we feel the ground beneath us shaking, and then suddenly people are panicking because of a volcanic eruption. Have you ever wondered why these things happen? That is because our country is located at Typhoon Belt, or also known as Pacific Ring of Fire, where in this area our country experiences many forms of natural disasters, such as typhoon, a landslide, earthquake, volcanic eruption, and fire. But do you know what to do when these disasters happen? Then wonder no more. That is what we're gonna teach you for today. I am Ken.
I'm Ivy Alegre.
I'm Jacqueline Maloles.
I'm Kyra Eheda.
My name is Snaira Abdul.
We present to you disaster preparedness, preparing you prepare better for them. Okay, let's begin with disasters. What are disasters? Disasters are sudden calamitous occurrence that causes great harm, injury, destruction, and devastation to life and property. This causes serious disruptions of the function of a community or society due to hazardous events interacting with conditions of exposure, vulnerability, and capacity, leading to one or more of the following: human, environmental, economic, and material losses and impacts. It also disrupts the usual course of life, causing both physical and emotional stress, as well as tense feelings of helplessness and hopelessness. And the thing about disasters, when it hit, it causes large scale of damages to people and property, and these damages must be so widespread that the affected community don't have the ability to manage on their own. That is why, according to Disaster Risk Reduction Resource Manual, disasters are emergencies that cannot be handled by those affected without outside assistance. They need outside help from other people, especially from the government or the local government units, and sometimes aids from other countries to be able to stand back again and resume their normal lives before the disaster happened. And the thing about disaster is most of it is natural and it's inevitable or unavoidable. That is why the things that we can only do are to prevent it and prepare for it. Because being prepared for any sudden and unpredicted disaster can reduce our fear and anxiety of the unknown. Disaster preparedness consists of a set of measures undertaken in advance by governments, organizations, communities, or individuals to better respond and cope with the immediate aftermath of a disaster, whether it be human-induced or caused by natural hazards. This plays an important role in building the resilience of communities. Understanding the occurrence and frequency of natural hazards as well as the risks, vulnerabilities, and potential impact on people and assets helps to improve preparedness. And under Republic Act number 10121 or the DRRM Act, provinces, cities, and municipalities now play a greater role in building the disaster resilience of communities and institutionalizing measures for reducing disaster risk, enhancing disaster preparedness and response capabilities. The DRRM Act aims to institutionalize a proactive and holistic approach to disaster risk reduction and management, emphasizing the importance of risk assessment, prevention, and preparedness in order to minimize the impacts of disaster in individuals, communities, and the nations as a whole. Deputy Order number 27, series of 2015, is about policy and guidance on comprehensive school safety and preparedness. This order outlines the policy and guidelines for disaster risk reduction and management in schools. It requires schools to develop and implement school disaster management plans, conduct drills and simulations, and ensure the safety of students, teachers, and personnel during disasters. Now, in order to develop appropriate disaster preparedness plans and response strategies, it is important to understand its different types.
There are two types of disasters. First is natural disasters. These are the disasters that are caused by natural phenomena, such as weather-related disasters like hurricanes, typhoons, tornadoes, floods, and droughts. Geological disasters like earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and landslide. The second one is man-made disasters. These are the disasters that are caused by human activities such as industrial accidents, fires, terrorist attacks, nuclear accidents, and transportation accidents. Now we will talk about kinds of disasters that are common in the Philippines. The Philippines is a country prone to a variety of natural disasters due to its location in the Pacific Ring of Fire and its exposure to typhoons and monsoon rains. The most common type of disasters in the Philippines include typhoons. Typhoons are characterized by strong winds, heavy rainfall, and a low pressure center known as the eye. A typhoon is a powerful tropical cyclone that forms in the northwestern Pacific Ocean. It is essentially the same phenomenon as a hurricane or cyclone, but the term typhoon is specifically used for tropical cyclones that occur in the Pacific region. The Philippines is hit by an average of 20 typhoons per year, causing flooding, landslide, and wind damage. This type of disasters isn't new to us Filipinos. The unforgettable typhoons in our country were Super Typhoon Yolanda, Ondoy, Ruli, and Ulysses. Floods. It is natural disaster that occurs when an area becomes submerged in water, usually due to an overflow of water from rivers, lakes, or coastal areas. As we can see in the pictures, floods can have devastating consequences. They can destroy homes, buildings, and infrastructure, disrupt transportation systems, contaminate water sources, and trigger landslides. Landslides. It is a geological event in which a mass of soil, rocks, or debris moves from downhill to gravity. Landslide can cause loss of life, property damage, and displacement of communities, while also resulting in environmental degradation and disruption of transportation and economic activities. Fourth is earthquake. Any sudden shaking of the ground caused by the passage of seismic waves through earth rocks. The Philippines sits in the Pacific Ring of Fire, a region new for its seismic activities. That's why earthquakes are common in our country. One of the most tragic earthquakes that happened to the Philippines was the 2013 Bohol earthquake, where a lot of lives were taken and infrastructures destroyed. Volcanic eruptions. An eruption of molten rock, hot rock fragments, and hot gases through a volcano, which is a vent in a planet's or satellite's crust. The Philippines has 24 active volcanoes. A volcanic eruption can cause significant damage and loss of life, just like what happened in Taal last 2020, and the world's largest volcanic eruption to happen in the past 100 years was the June 15, 1991 eruption of Mount Pinatubo in the Philippines. And the last one is fire. A man-made disaster refers to the outbreak and uncontrolled spread of fire that causes extensive damage to property, infrastructure, and the environment. Incidents can occur due to both natural and man-made causes. In Philippines, fires often occur in urban areas and informal settlements due to inadequate fire safety measures.
What are the tools and equipments for disaster preparedness? There are many important tools and equipment for disaster preparedness, but some of the most essential ones are: first is first aid kit. This is essential for treating injuries and preventing infections. A basic first aid kit may contain plasters, sterile gauze, eye dressings, bandage, safety pins, disposable sterile gloves, tweezers, scissors, alcohol-free cleansing wipes, sticky tape, thermometer, antiseptic cream, painkillers, and distilled water. Next is emergency kit. As we can see in the picture, this should include food, water, medication, first aid kit, flashlight, radio, batteries, and other items that can help you survive for a few days in case of a disaster. Other tools and equipments for disaster preparedness are: first, portable power bank. In case of a power outage, you may need a portable power bank or generator to charge your phone, run essential medical equipment, or power other devices. Next is fire extinguisher. A fire extinguisher can help you put out small fires and prevent them from becoming larger and more dangerous. Next is emergency generator. An emergency generator can provide backup power in case of a power outage, allowing you to run essential appliances and devices. Water filtration system. In case of a water contamination or shortage, a water filtration system can help you purify water for drinking and other uses. Next is personal protective equipment. Depending on the nature of the disaster, personal protective equipment such as gloves, masks, and goggles may be necessary to protect yourself from harmful substance or environments. Tools from home repairs. In the aftermath of a disaster, you may need to make temporary repairs to your home or property. Tools such as hammers, saws, and nails can be essential for this purpose. Next is communication equipment. In a disaster situation, communication can be critical. Tools such as two-way radio cell phones and satellite phones can help you stay in touch with emergency responders and loved ones. Next is shelter supplies. If you need to evacuate your home or seek shelter elsewhere, you may need supplies such as tents, sleeping bags, and blankets to stay warm and comfortable. Next is navigation equipment. In case of a disaster that requires you to evacuate, navigation equipment such as maps, compasses, and GPS devices can help you find your way to safety. So, what should I do before, during, and after disaster? Before disaster, there are several steps that individuals and communities can take to prepare themselves. Before disaster. First, stay informed. Keep up to date with news and alerts from local authorities and emergency management agencies. Sign up for emergency notifications and make sure you know how to access reliable information during a disaster. Next is develop an emergency plan. Make a plan with your family or household members about what you will do in case of a disaster. Identify escape routes, a safe meeting place, and procedures for communicating with each other. Next is prepare an emergency kit. Assemble on an emergency kit that includes essential items like food, water, a first aid kit, medications, flashlight, and batteries. Customize the kit to meet the specific needs of your family. Next is secure your property. Take steps to make your home more resilient to disasters. For example, secure heavy furniture and appliances to the walls, install storm shutters, or reinforce windows, and clear debris from gutters and downspouts. Next is identify safe locations. Identify safe locations within your community where you can see either during a disaster, such as designated evacuation center or a reinforced building. Next is practice drills. Conduct regular drills and exercise to ensure that all members of your family or community are familiar with the emergency plan and know how to do in the event of a disaster. So, by taking these steps, you can be better prepared to protect yourself, your family, and your property before a disaster occurs. So, what is the DepEd number 37? DepEd 37 Series 2022 guidelines on the cancellation or suspensions of classes and work in schools in the event of natural disasters, power outage, power interruption, and other calamities. That is why it is important that we should stay at home once the classes are cancelled so that we are safe with our family. DepEd Order Number 53, Series 2022. Mandatory and announced earthquake and fire drills in schools, requiring all public elementary and secondary schools to conduct unannounced earthquake and fire drills every first and third week of every month. Conducting unannounced drills in school is important because it simulates real-life emergency situations and allows students and staff to practice their response skills and under realistic conditions. It helps identify any gaps or weaknesses in emergency preparedness plans, enabling schools to make necessary improvements. Additionally, unannounced drills foster a sense of readiness and preparedness among students and staff, ensuring they are better equipped to handle emergencies and potentially saving lives in the event of a real crisis.
Now, let's proceed to during disaster. First, stay calm. Panic can lead to poor decision making, so it's essential to stay calm and focus. Second, follow emergency procedure. Follow the instruction from emergency personnel or local authorities. If you need to evacuate, do so immediately. Follow the designated evacuation route and take only essential items with you. If an earthquake is happening, it is important to do the drop, cover, and hold. First, drop down on your hands and knees. This protects you from falling but lets you move if you need to. Second, cover your head and neck or your entire body if possible, under a study table or desk if it is within a few steps of you. If there is no shelter nearby, cover your head and neck with your arms and hands. Third, hold on to your shelter or your position to protect your head and neck until the shaking stops. If the shaking shifts your shelter around, move it. Now, if there's a fire, it is important to remember the pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep, or the pass. First, pull the pin. Second, aim the base of fire. Third, squeeze the trigger or the handle. Fourth, sweep the spray side to side. Drop, cover, and hold, and pass are one of the important emergency procedures to remember. Third, monitor news and weather updates. Stay tuned to news and weather reports for updates and instructions. Use only trusted sources of information and avoid rumors of misinformation. And four, check on loved ones. Make sure that everyone in your family is accounted for, assist others who may need help. And fifth, use communication devices sparingly. During disaster, communication networks may become overloaded. Use phones and other communication devices sparingly to preserve battery life and network capacity. Among all these, remember the most important thing is to stay safe and follow the guidance of emergency officials. After disaster. After disaster, there are several things you can do to help yourself and your community to recover. First, stay safe. Continue to listen to local news and authorities for updates and instructions. Return home only when authorities indicate it is safe to do so. Avoid entering buildings that are damaged or structurally unsound. Second, check for injuries. Check yourself and your loved ones for injuries. Seek medical attention if needed. Third, inspect your home. Check for any damage or hazard that may have resulted from the disaster and avoid using any damaged appliances or utilities. Take photos or videos of any damage for insurance purposes. 4. Seek assistance. Reach out to local emergency organization and government agency for assistance if necessary. And 5. Be patient. Recovering from a disaster takes time. Stay patient and don't rush the process of returning to normalcy.
Let's talk about rapid assessment and damages report. Rapid assessments of damages report, Radar 1 and 2, are the reports from the school DRRM coordinators sent via SMS to the DRRMS. The reports covered infrastructure and non-infrastructure damages which are sent within the first 48 to 72 hours in the aftermath of disaster. Radar, or the Rapid Assessments of Damages Report, is a system used for quickly assessing and reporting the extent of damages caused by disaster or emergencies. It provides a rapid and preliminary overview of the impact in infrastructures, housings, and other critical sectors. Radar 1 is typically conducted immediately after a disaster occurs. It focuses on conducting a rapid assessment to gather initial data and determine the immediate needs for response and relief efforts. The assessment team evaluates the severity of damages, identifies priority areas, and provides initial estimates of the resources required for recovery. Radar 2 is conducted after the immediate response phase. It involves a more detailed assessments of damages, losses, and needs. This phase focuses on collecting comprehensive data, analyzing the impact on various sectors, and developing strategies for long-term recovery and reconstruction. Both Radar 1 and 2 are important components of the disaster management cycle. They help inform decision makers, aid agencies, and other stakeholders in understanding the scale of disaster, allocating resources effectively, and planning for the recovery and rebuilding process. These assessments play a crucial role in facilitating timely and targeted responses to alleviate the impacts of disasters and support after communities. On the other hand, disasters preparedness is a crucial aspect of disaster risk reduction and management. Preparedness measures can help reduce the impact of disaster on individual communities and the environment. It involves identifying potential hazards, developing and implementing disaster managing plans, conducting drills and simulations, and ensuring the availability of resources and personnel during disasters. Disaster preparedness is a shared responsibility between the government, communities, and individuals. Governments are responsible for creating and implementing policies and guidelines for disasters, risk reduction, and management, while communities and individuals are responsible for taking proactive steps to prepare for disaster and minimize the impact. Effective disaster preparedness requires collaboration, coordination, and communication among stakeholders. It involves identifying vulnerabilities and building resilience to withstand disasters, and ensuring that all members of the community are involved and informed about disaster risk reduction and management efforts. Ultimately, disaster preparedness is a continuous process that requires ongoing monitoring, evaluation, and improvement. It is important for individuals, communities, and governments to work together to develop and implement effective disaster preparedness measurements in order to minimize the impact of disaster and ensure the safety and well-being of everyone involved. Education cannot wait. Education must continue even in the midst of disasters. Education is a right that everyone should have, even during disasters. It's crucial to keep education going. The code emphasizes the critical importance of ensuring that education remains a priority, even during times of crisis and disasters. Other than providing a sense of normalcy and stability for students, offering routine and structure during times of upheaval. It also helps mitigate the long-term impacts of disasters by equipping individuals with knowledge, skills, and resilience needed to recover and rebuild their lives and communities. By continuing education during difficult times, we can provide stability, help people recover, and prepare them for the future. It underscores that belief that education is a powerful tool that can empower individuals and communities to overcome challenges and build a better future, even amidst of difficult circumstances.